If you want to quit smoking or you need to quit smoking or vaping, but you feel resistance, this video is for you. I used to have a love-hate relationship with smoking, and I tried so many times to quit, so many relapses. And as a psychologist, I used to think to myself almost every day, how can you really help other people when you cannot even help yourself? But I couldn't. I was living in conflict, and it's because I had this inner conflict that I knew I could quit. I'm going to explain everything. But first, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed that you are of two minds? A part of you promises yourself and your loved ones that you're going to quit smoking, and you really want to, you really mean it. But there is another part of you that brings resistance. The other part of you makes you run out of the house to buy cigarettes, or it makes the next puff, the next hit, irresistible. One part of you keeps reminding you of why you should quit and what you hate about being addicted. The other part makes up reasons to postpone quitting smoking. It says it's not the right time. The date is not right. After the stressful period, after my birthday, after. Have you noticed this conflict in yourself? Like I show our members on the CBQ Nicotine Freedom Program, this is what I call the smoker's conflict. It is a conflict between the real you and the addicted you. And those parts of you, they want different things. The real you wants health and freedom. The addicted you wants one thing. Can you guess what it is? That's addiction. That's what it wants. And the two parts of you, they have different voices. For example, the real you has a voice that guides you to freedom. It tells you, you can do it. You must do it. You hate smoking. You're dizzy now that you smoked. The addicted you says different things. It says things that maintain the illusion of comfort. It tells you that freedom is not possible for you, that you are too stressed, you cannot do it, you're too addicted, you have an addicted personality, an addictive personality, that it's a habit for you, smoking helps. And of course, the big one is that horrible things will happen to you if you quit. So this is the conflict. And this conflict is annoying, right? It's quite annoying. But without having this conflict, we're not even awakened to the desire to quit. So having this conflict means there is a part of you that wants freedom. And this is very important. Now let's talk about this conflict a little bit more so we can understand it and see how we resolve it, okay? So in psychology, this type of conflict is called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when we have two conflicting ideas in our minds. So when we have two conflicting ideas in our mind, this creates mental anxiety, and we cannot withhold this anxiety. So we have to resolve it. And the way we resolve this tension, this conflict momentarily, is by devaluing one of those ideas that are in conflict. Let me give you an example. Let's say that I want to eat healthy and I want to have an ice cream. And in that moment, those are two conflicting ideas in my mind. So they create that conflict. To resolve that conflict, I will either devalue the idea of eating healthy. Maybe I'm going to tell myself that it's just an ice cream. I can start tomorrow. I ate well all day, so I deserve a treat, whatever it is I say. And I devalue the idea of eating healthy, and therefore I can choose the ice cream. Or I have this conflicting idea, eating healthy, eating ice cream, and I can resolve this conflict by devaluing the idea of ice cream instead. And I could tell myself that I'm not hungry anyway, I'm going to feel bloated afterwards, I'm going to find a different way to soothe myself emotionally. So when it comes to food, depending on which idea we devalue, most of the time, this forms our eating habits. Now, let's see how this plays out with the smoking addiction, the nicotine addiction. The two big conflicting ideas we hold almost all the time as smokers is the idea of freedom and the idea of smoking. Those are the two conflicting ideas. So what do I do about this conflict? I am either going to devalue the idea of freedom, and I'm going to tell myself that I need a cigarette, it's a stressful period, nothing's going to happen if I smoke just one or just one more, I can do it later, smoking one is better than smoking 10. Whatever it is, we're going to say ourselves to devalue the idea of freedom, and then we can choose smoking. Or we can resolve this conflict by devaluing the idea of smoking. And part of the quit smoking process is doing this, to stop devaluing freedom and start devaluing smoking. That's what this is all about. When you completely devalue smoking, when you see zero value in smoking cigarettes, with no exceptions, this is what it means to overcome the mental addiction. When you stop believing it helps me cope, it gives me comfort, it gives me routine. I needed to go through boring tasks or stressful days or connect with other smokers. When we completely devalue smoking, we overcome the mental addiction and we have mental freedom. So this is how the mechanism of the inner conflict works. So we have to resolve it to have freedom. Make sense so far? Now, to resolve this conflict, to completely devalue the idea of smoking, to do this, let's better understand where the addicted voice comes from, okay? Because when we have that inner conflict, it may feel like there is a war within yourself, and the addicted you is not something hateful or weak inside of you. It's something else. So where does the addicted you come from? As I explained in our free quit smoking masterclass that I highly recommend attending if you haven't already done so, this is what happens. When we start smoking or vaping, we develop what I call the Smokers Program. The Smokers Program is a mindset, a filter that makes us see reality through the lens of a smoker, through the eyes of a smoker, the mindset of a smoker. This is like a computer, like having a computer that has a virus, and that virus just distorts reality and messes up everything. The same way, our mind is a supercomputer that has the Smokers Program. And this is a faulty program, a malware, a virus that hijacks our mind and makes smoking feel essential to our survival. It is because of the Smokers Program that we have the addicted mind. And the addicted mind has one job: to make smoking a priority above all else, above your health, above your freedom, above your family, above everything. And not just make it a priority over very important things in your life, but even in your day-to-day life, you can see that. For example, you book a ticket for a long flight or a long movie, and the first thing your mind starts worrying about is whether or not you can last without a cigarette or without your vape, or going out in the freezing cold against all comforts to smoke, or having health challenges and still putting smoking as our priority. It becomes the most important thing, even though logically we know better, even though we may really, really want to quit. That's what the addiction does to us. So most people, they try to quit smoking by fighting against their own mind. But the solution is not to fight against your own mind, it's to reprogram the addicted mind, to change your relationship with smoking, to stop seeing value in smoking, to completely devalue smoking so you will not have the voice of addiction dominating your mind and your life anymore. And this is such an essential part of the quit smoking process. And in our nicotine freedom program, we spend 3 days targeting this. So this is what I want you to take away. The addicted voice is not weakness. It is a programming error. I'm going to say this again. The addicted voice is not weakness. It is a programming error, an outdated program that you've been running for so long, decades even, that now it feels like an inseparable part of yourself, but it's not. And it does go away when you stop seeing value in smoking. It does fade. You don't have to live with it for years after quitting smoking. So leave a comment below and let me know, do you have the smoker's conflict? And what does your craving mind usually tell you? And if you want to learn more about how we help people break free from nicotine and remove the mental addiction in a systematic way with the CBQ method, check the link in the description of this video to request the CBQ method starter guide, and I will send it to your email. I think the starter guide of the CBQ method is really going to help you, especially if you believe you don't have enough willpower to quit smoking. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.